Yo, are we live? Oh, I see Crow in the chat already. He said, I'm tired as try to wait up, but I gotta crash. Good luck on the stream. Are we live?
Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see
hold on. I
Crow in
hear
the
an
chat
echo in my
already.
voice. Oh, so I got
He
the stream
said,
up.
I'm
Hold on. Give me
tired.
1 second.
Hey, shout out to Crow, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was trying to start the stream as early as possible, but I had to take care of a few things real quick. But appreciate you stopping by, bro. Everybody go subscribe to Crow's channel. He's been doing some One Piece videos on his channel. He got a Sanji video. He did a Zoro video as well. But yeah, I think we'll wait for a few people to hop in here. Just kind of let the views go up for a minute. And then, hey man, it's the first stream I've done in so long. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I have I have a lot of videos I'm planning on making. I'm actually planning a comeback when it comes to videos. I get a lot of comments. People just they want the original content back. They want the theories. They want the long form content. Look, man, I got a lot of stuff planned, and right now we're kind of getting everything together. I finally got situated with a consistent schedule in my personal life. Even like right now, I'm just getting off work, so now I finally have an idea of how I can get videos going consistently, how I'm going to be able to, get everything prepared and then record and just time everything. But just behind the scenes stuff, that's a big thing, man. Last year was a hectic year for me, personal life and everything. So I kind of just had to take a break from One Piece, and it just wasn't my main priority. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to donate, and we can get these videos coming out even quicker, because I got a lot of ideas planned. But that way we can, if you guys donate, we can fund my editing so we can get it faster. Because right now, I'm working with an editor, one of my original editors from the old videos, but it takes a lot of time to edit, and you got to pay your editors. So right now I can only afford one at the moment, but if you want them faster, we could pump out maybe a video or two a week, because you guys know we make some longer videos. Those take time and effort and a lot of planning, a lot of editing. Yeah, if you guys want to donate, that will help a lot, and I'll try my best to get as many videos out as fast as possible, and have a more consistent schedule. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of editors that hit me up all the time, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm taking a break. But let's get into this. So we got One Piece chapter 1154. Look, I was talking to Crow earlier, and he's like, watch out for the spoilers this week. So, and I'm thinking like, it's been a while since I covered spoilers. I just been so out of the loop in One Piece. I don't even check Twitter anymore. I usually just read the chapter either the day before the podcast or sometimes right before the podcast if I'm really busy. But I'm thinking like we got some time, and I'm really excited to. I don't know what it is, but I was kind of like just busy with everything going on, and I was talking to OPU. We got a group chat. I'm like, bro, I'm fiending for this One Piece chapter. I don't know what it is. If it's like we're in the middle of Elbaf, we're just in the midst of all the chaos, backstories, a lot of crazy stuff going on in the manga. And so I haven't been this excited for One Piece since, I want to say since like middle of Egghead, probably when the Gorosei showed up. That was probably like, I haven't been this excited since that time. And Elbaf has been incredible. I mean, it's one of my favorite arcs, and we're gonna get a lot more to come. I mean, I can't even imagine what this chapter is going to be. With Crow hyping it up to me, he's like, "Bro, you gotta watch out for these spoilers, man." So, yeah, I'm expecting something maybe big or something, some kind of reveal. And if you check out our podcast, the one thing I say every single week, when Loki's devil fruit gets revealed. That might be one of my favorite chapters in One Piece. That might end up being my favorite chapter of Elbaf. Cause I've been that is like, bro, the way Oda's been hyping up this reveal. Um, I remember we did a spoiler stream reacting to the spoilers. The chapter when it was revealed of Loki's devil fruit was some kind of sun god. Like, we were trying to speculate on what it could be. When they hyped up Loki's fruit, that chapter when we see Loki, we see the tree of Elbaf and everything. Ever since that chapter, this fruit has been the most hyped thing. Comparing it to Luffy's fruit, and Oda just knows how to build the hype, man. Like, what? I can't even imagine how hype Loki's fruit is gonna be. The last time we had something like this, I want to say Kaido's fruit was one of the most hype devil fruit reveals ever. Um, and then the Gorosei was hype too, but the thing with the Gorosei is, like, it was more confusing than anything. Like, it was cool, and it was a lot because we got all 5 Gorosei revealed. We didn't even, like, we knew there was going to be some kind of form that they had because of Sabo, but I feel like there wasn't the build up. It was like we still don't even know if those are devil fruits to this day. But Loki's fruit is, we keep hearing the rumblings about it. We keep hearing about this mystery, and it's tied into the backstory. So I really do hope we get to see that soon. But yeah, guys, make sure you like the stream. We're about to read these spoilers, and then super chats and everything. We'll read it after we're done reacting to it. But this is going to be a raw reaction. Let's get into it. Chapter 1154. Man, I'm excited, bro. I'm really excited. Let's get into it. So the cover. Ocho takes Yamato to the graves of a hero from West Blue that was raised in Ringo. Okay, well, wait, who is Ocho again? Let me just pull that up real quick. Ocho, One Piece. Who's it's one of the Yakuza bosses. So I think one of the ones that worked with the Rochi. But I'm not gonna lie. So this is one of the more interesting things we've seen when it comes to Yamato's cover story. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm completely checked out of this cover story. I haven't even been paying attention to this in a while. It was really getting kind of boring. And then we got some, I wouldn't even say interesting, but we got something when we got page 1 of OT. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go, because I'm rereading Elbaf right now. I might have to really, like, focus in on this cover story as I'm rereading it, because I couldn't even tell you what this cover story is about. I know we're going around Wano, exploring with Yamato, kind of gathering a crew of sorts now at this point, but I couldn't tell you what's going on in this. Definitely one of the more boring cover stories, but this here is actually interesting. A hero from the West Blue that was raised in Ringo. Chat, who do you think this could be? Who was a hero from the West Blue? The grave of a hero, too. That's interesting, right? So who could... Let's see, who's in the West Blue that we know of? So my first thought goes to Fujitora, because Fujitora was he had something going on in the West Blue. I forgot what it was exactly, but there was a point when he was connected to the West Blue. I believe he let me pull this up. Fujitora, what was his connection to the West Blue? West Blue. He was once a captain of a guard force in the former Aoi Kingdom. And we never knew what happened with Fujitora, how he was blinded. There's some kind of traumatic backstory there. But I always assumed Fujitora would be tied to Wano. So is it possible that Fujitora was raised in Ringo and maybe he like faked his death or something. There was some kind of I don't know, because we don't really know too much about him. I don't know. A hero from the West Blue that was raised in Ringo. I really want to say it has something to. Maybe if it's not Fujitora himself, could it be someone that was a hero in Fujitora's backstory, like someone who was friends with Fujitora, part of this military or whatever, this guard force, who died? Maybe Fujitora's backstory is going to focus on, he couldn't save this hero, or maybe this hero was the one who saved Fujitora. So, I'm thinking like, I really do think it would be cool if it was something including Fujitora, because as far as I remember, there's not really anyone else who has any like Wano resemblance. Yeah, I'm going to say that's my theory for now. It's something with Fujitora and his past. Probably not him because he's alive. Why would there be a grave for him? But I want to say a former friend of the AoE kingdom or something tying to Fujitora's past, and that's why he because if you remember, let me pull up the quote of Fujitora. Quote: He says, "My eyes may not see, but I can clearly see your strength. I cannot see the form of my enemies. I cannot leave them like that." No, that's not the quote. Is that the quote? Being blind has its advantages because there are so many filthy things in this world I would rather not look at. Let me see, because it was something implying like a tragic backstory with him. Yeah, I think that is the quote. I think it's not having sight is a blessing. The world of men is full of filthy things, not worth laying eyes upon. So, maybe yeah, because Fujito, maybe he saw something so horrible and tragic in what happened with his kingdom, and maybe the death of this Ringo person, this hero, is kind of tied to his blindness. Maybe I don't know. I really I'm gonna have to maybe think about this more, but that's my honest reaction. I could be completely off there, but who else is from the West Blue? So we got Nico Robin. Could it be like Nico Robin's father? Nico Robin's father was a maybe someone from Wano. Maybe I'd really doubt that, but I guess it's possible. Um, wasn't Shanks from the West? It's not. It's definitely not Shanks. I can't think of everyone else who was from the West Blue, but yeah, we'll stick with the Fujitora theory. Let's move on. So, after the Big Mom incident, Elbaf was hit by disaster like fires, storms, or famine. Okay, interesting. So, are we gonna assume that it's because of Big Mom, or is it like is Big Mom a curse that they're kind of saying is the explanation for all this, or is it something more like because in Elbaf they have a very superstitious mindset with gods and different types of explanations for everything. So, but that is interesting because we know with Big Mom, she has the fire and storm homies. So I don't know. It's maybe there's some connection with Big Mom, and that's kind of how they tied it to her. But so that's kind of interesting too. I wonder how is Big Mom tied into this? Is it like the backstory still with Harold, and then we're gonna see Big Mom kind of being brought up in some way? Um, Maybe someone's like reporting to Harold. There's been so many tragedies and disasters ever since Big Mom. When disaster John or so the next part when desperate giants was about to attack Ida and Hazrudin, King Harold returned in time to protect them and brought foreign aid to help Elbaf. Estrida died from illness before Harold's return. On the other hand, Ida opened a bar in the underworld when desperate John was about to say. Okay, so let me get this right because I gotta remember names here. Estrida, One Piece, was that Loki's mom or Hazrudin? So I think okay, so Estrida was the mother of Loki, and then Ida was Hazrudin's mom. Okay, so let's read this again real quick. Estrida died from illness before Harold's return. On the other hand, Ida opened up a bar in the underworld. So that's kind of interesting too. Ida has a bar. I wonder if we're going to see something involving the underworld more because we know there's a lot there with Mother Caramel and you know a while back when we first were finding out we're going to Elbaf, I kept bringing up this point of like we don't know all the underworld connections with Elbaf. Like there seems to be a lot more than meets the eye. Now we're finding out there's a lot of corruption within Elbaf, even with King Harold. And you know, there's also Shanks there as well. So like you have a Yonko making his own kind of territory in Elbaf. He's like a legendary figure there, Yonko. Then you have Mother Caramel and the Marines infiltrating with their kind of underworld dealings. Then you have, now Ida, and another reference to the underworld. You also have Scopper Gabon, kind of like a legendary pirate who's kind of like a refugee in the underworld here in this case. So I don't know. I hope we get to see more of the underworld scene in Elbaf, but this is interesting because Harold is royalty. Hazrudin is the son of Harold, and his mother is just like this human in the underworld, right? Because oh no, Ida's a giant. My bad. Yeah. Okay, so wait, was Loki's mom she wasn't a giant, right? Was she? Wait. Oh, she was a giant too, yeah. Was am I crazy? Was wait, was she a giant? Why am I thinking that there was someone in the last chapter who wasn't a giant? I don't even know, bro. All right. Anyways, okay. So 56 years ago, Harold went to the Reverie, but the government ignored him. Back in Elbaf, Ja Rule talked to Harold about the Galila. The name might be slightly different. A group of ancient giant and non-ancient giant shipbuilders who were captured, possibly by the government. Because Galila Company, One Piece. What wasn't that was the name of the Water 7 crew, right? Am I tripping about that? Galila Company. Yeah, that was. So that's kind of interesting. So we got a new group of shipwrights, and it's like from the ancient times. So this might have been the people who built Poseidon. This might be the people who passed on the knowledge about Poseidon to even Tom, right? Because we know Water 7 was Water Seven's been around for like since ancient times, and it's one of those because the reason why it stuck around so long was they kept rebuilding it. Every time it would flood, they would build much higher. They would build up, and so it's just a bunch of kind of shipbuilders stacking up their island more and more as the floods keep coming in. So at the bottom, I always wondered too. At the bottom of Water Seven, you might have like the facility where they built Pluton, because Pluton was built in Water Seven like thousands of years or hundreds of years ago, probably during the Void Century. So yeah, the Galila company is probably they're probably referencing this ancient kingdom crew that was building or Pluton, which is really cool. I mean that's a really cool, and that makes sense too because Tom, not only did he tell Frankie, but Mayor Iceberg, who runs the Galila company and kind of is involved there, he knows everything too. He knows he knows about the secrets of Pluton. Tom, was his mentor. So that makes a lot of sense. If I mean, it's very possible that Tom even told him the stories of Galila, the ancient shipwrights, right? These legendary shipwrights. So I think that's a really cool little reference, and it's a nice little lore drop too. It's kind of weird that we're getting this in an Elbaf Harold backstory, but I guess it makes sense if King Harold is the king of Elbaf, um, and Mayor Iceberg is like the mayor of Water Seven, and the giants and then the Water Seven people also came together to create Pluton. It makes sense why why there's a reference here. And that would also make a lot of sense too if Pluton is really as big as we're expecting it to be. Because, if you remember Frankie's reaction, and then he's like, that's a ship? That looks. We don't even know what it is, right? We don't really know too much. But from his reaction, it looks like some kind of impossible ship to create. And what if the reason why his reaction was like that was because of the scale? If Pluton is created by ancient giants of the Void Century time, Pluton could be massive. It could be this huge ship, like even way bigger than something of like Dorian Brogie's ship, if it's this giant super weapon, right? So, that makes a lot of sense that giants would have helped to create this giant ship. And then also you got to keep in mind, Frankie also knew about the Adam tree. And not the Adam. Wait, was it the Adam tree? Frankie, Adam, yeah, because he did. He knew about the Adam tree wood, and he's kind of explaining, this is how I made the Sunny. I've always wanted this this jewel tree Adam's wood. It's the strongest wood in the world, and that's the ship of dreams, right? Like that's Luffy's Thousand Sunny. So the pieces are coming together, man. Like. I still do think that the Jewel Tree Atom is connected to Elbaf. It's probably maybe even like a branch of the giant Elbaf tree. Maybe the Elbaf tree itself is the Atom tree. We've talked about that before as well. Actually, I made an entire video on that. But yeah, I mean, this is like really interesting stuff here. Man, there's a lot here. There's actually a lot here to kind of break down. Because Frankie knew about the Atom Tree, and the giant, if the Giants teamed up with Water 7 to create Pluton itself is probably created by the Jewel Tree Atom wood, right? Like that would make a lot of sense. What do you guys think, Chad? Do you think Pluton is also created by Atom Tree wood? Because a lot of people kind of speculate that maybe it's not even created by wood at all. It's like some kind of ancient technology, right? And that makes a lot of sense too. But if the Atom Tree is connected to Elbaf, then yeah, that would make sense why they teamed up there. Now let's keep going here. Okay, so They say the name might slightly be different, so maybe Galila is like spelled a little different, and then it's kind of referenced, so it got you know passed down. They kind of changed the name a little bit. So we get another. So 56. Let's reread this real quick. 56 years ago, Harold went to the Reverie, but the government ignored him. Back in Elbaf, Jaru talked to Harold about the Gali Law. The name might be slightly different. A group of ancient giant and non-ancient giant shipbuilders were captured, possibly by the government. So yeah, and so we're talking about the Reverie here, right? And if you remember, Shanks was going to warn Harold, do not bring up that certain topic. So I'm assuming it's probably this, right? Because it's like a similar thing to King Cobra, where it's like, yeah, you've learned too much. King Harold probably was starting to put the pieces together and be like, wait, was this Gali La group, this ancient shipbuilders who created Pluton and maybe Joy Boy's ship, were these shipbuilders captured by the world government? So it was probably like a Cobra situation. He wanted to bring up the Void Century and a lot of history that is kind of erased from the world. That's also interesting too, because right now the Holy Knights are trying to destroy the library with all this knowledge. So when Elbaf has all this ancient knowledge, that also explains why they're targeting Elbaf specifically. They know Elbaf has a lot of knowledge on things from, their own history being tied to the Void Century and their library as well. So that's really interesting, man. Harold is becoming an interesting character. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about him so far. There's kind of a lot of twists and turns, and on one side, we've been told Harold is like a scumbag, but then he kind of turned the other cheek and made a different path for himself when he met Hajruden's mom, and she kind of changed him for the better in many ways. So I think he's a very conflicting character. He's not a black and white character. There's going to be there's gonna be a lot of nuance with King Harold, but so far I feel like we got to see how this ends, right? We got to see what happens exactly with Loki and Loki and Harold. So Estrida's sister reared Loki and abused him while Harold was focused on rebuilding Elbaf. Okay, so now we're getting into some okay. So the Loki trauma just doesn't end. Last chapter we had, one of the craziest backstories, one of the saddest things I've seen. And by the way, I'm still wondering, like, how does Loki know about everything? Like, does he know what happened with his mother? Like, how, like, who's telling the backstory too? Who's explaining the story? Because I'm not sure that Loki knows every little detail of how he was treated by his mother. But yeah. So Estrida's sister reared Loki. What is reared? Oh, to bring up and care for a child. So Estrida's sister, essentially Loki's half aunt, I guess you could say. She was raising Loki, but abused him. Yeah, we gotta see this abuse. Like, there's probably like physical abuse, or maybe worse, maybe even worse. While Harold was focused on rebuilding Elbaf. That's pretty dark, bro. That's Loki. Yeah, Loki's gonna have you can understand his rage now, right? So, 48 years ago, Loki unleashed some giant beast on the villages, but when he saw how other childs helped Hajruden, he realized how alone he was. Suddenly, Rock's pirates appeared in the underworld and asked Loki if they were an Elbaf and if Harold was around. So, I'm getting kind of like Naruto vibes with Loki because he's kind of the loner and the outcast at this point. And then, Jordan has a bunch of friends, and Loki's alone. He's on the swing, right? He's on the swing watching Hasruden. The swing of depression. So suddenly, Rock's pirates appeared in the underworld, which is crazy, bro. Like, are we gonna see? Yo, are we going to see? Are we gonna see Rocks in this chapter? Like, oh, that'd be kind of a cool way to reveal him. But I don't know. I feel like one thing I was interested in last chapter was, well, not last chapter. Whenever we found out about Loki and his connection with the Rocks pirates, there's definitely going to be a moment, I think, where we see Kaido and Loki interact, or maybe because there's this whole ancient giant thing, and if we're now seeing the Rocks pirates journey into Elbaf's underworld, and like maybe this is how Kaido learned so much about the ancient giants, right? And maybe Rocks is also interested in the ancient giants. So this is really interesting stuff here. Loki and his connection as an ancient giant with the horns to Kaido. I really hope that Kaido in some way is kind of what maybe it's what made Loki respect Rocks, because we know Kaido was also like an outcast figure in some way. But I don't know, because this is 48 years ago. How old is Kaido? Was like 60, right? How old was Kaido when he joined Rocks? He was 15 years old when he joined Rocks. And how old is Kaido today? 59. So 59. When is this flashback again? So this is like 56 years ago. Nah, the timeline doesn't match up. Wait, I don't know, because we might be moving through the flashback, right? Like 56 years ago might be the Reverie, and then a few years pass by, and then 48. So it's 48 years ago. When did Kaido join? He was 15. He's 59 right now, so 48 years ago, he would have been 13. Wait, am I doing the math right? No, he would have been like 11 years old, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, Kaido was definitely not part of the crew by then. Yeah, so we're probably not going to see Kaido. I was hoping we would see him. Or, I don't know. I don't know. Because if we're moving through the flashback 56 years ago, then 48 years ago, then maybe 10 years later we see. I don't know, bro. I don't know if it's 48 years ago. Kaido was definitely not there. I really hope that we get to see something though with Kaido and Loki, but who knows? We probably won't. Maybe look, I know I really don't think Kaido is alive, but if he's alive, that would be like the most bad ass alliance ever. Kaido and Loki. Yo, that's way better than Big Mom and Kaido, bro. We need the ancient giant pirates. Or maybe Yamato and Loki create their own crew. That would be. And I don't think that will happen, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure Loki's making out this arc alive. And Loki, I mean, he's a giant. Like, he's literally a monstrous size. Luffy is like the size of his fingernail. So I'm not sure that Loki can even have a crew with humans or even like Yamato. Yamato's massive, but she's not even close to Loki. But look, man, we're getting the Yamato cover story during the Loki stuff. Is it possible that we get the ancient giant pirates? That'd be cool too, because you got Hajruden on one side. We got Hajruden with the giant warriors, right? The new giant pirates. What if we get the new beast pirates or the ancient giant pirates with Loki? So you got, the Elbaf giant warriors and then the ancient giants. And, I don't know, because to me, Loki is like a Yonko level fighter. He's a Yonko level figure, right? And it's funny too, because Luffy did invite Loki to join his crew, but it's like, that's just not happening, bro. Like, what? Like, how is he gonna fit on the ship? First of all, maybe okay, there's one way I will say though, if depending on Loki's fruit, if he has a Logia, if he has, or not a Logia, if he has like a Zoan fruit or some kind of mythical zone, or like if he has maybe a Paramecia where he could transform. If he needs something where he could transform, even a Logia would probably do. But if he can transform and shrink down to some kind of like small beast form, if his power is like a mythical creature that's very small in the Zoan form, then he can have a crew. He could be with Yamato or Luffy or whatever. So until we know his power, we still got, that's a possibility. He does have the capability of joining a crew. But as far like it seems like Loki in his past was this one man army, very similar to Kaido, where he's just rampaging through the new world alone, like just solo dolo, just taking care of business in the new world by himself. So I really do hope we get to see more of Loki as far as like his devil fruit and but yeah, this stuff is really getting interesting, bro, because we got Rocks pirates arriving and yo, bro, are we gonna see Rocks revealed? Like, I want to see more of this guy. Rocks revealed. Let me see. Rocks, One Piece. Because have we seen a? I don't know if we've only seen silhouettes, right? D Zebek, One Piece. Or did we see his face one time? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was just silhouettes. But what about that chapter in Egghead? I think we still. I'm not sure I don't think we saw him still. Egghead. Yeah, I don't think we've seen Rocks yet, as far as I remember. But we did see that silhouette during Elbaf as well, right? When I think it was during Loki's flashback. We got like a mini, or was that during Kaido's flashback? Or was that Egghead? I mean, there's been a few times we've seen Rocks, but I don't think we've seen anything too crazy yet. But what was going on 48 years ago? How far back was that? When was God Valley was 39, right? 39 years ago. When was God Valley? 38 years ago. So if this is 48 years ago, that's 10 years before God Valley. And that's kind of wild too, because does that kind of implies that, because we started the chapter with Big Mom, right? We started this chapter with, after Big Mom incident, Elbaf was hit by disasters like fire, storms, or famine. And that's interesting because it's like, is this like marking the return of Big Mom at Elbaf? And that's really cool. Like that's kind of a cool way to tie everything in. And then on top of that, so because we got Big Mom here coming back in Elbaf, and that's gonna be a really fun moment. But Kaido wasn't in the crew yet, so I'm assuming Whitebeard was there in this chapter. Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom. Big Mom for sure. Um, I wouldn't even be mad at it if it was just Big Mom and Rocks, right? Or maybe like because Whitebeard doesn't have to be here. I guess he could be on his own mission, separate. But it would be cool if it's like just Big Mom, Kaido, and Rocks, the OG trio of the crew. Who else was part of it? Shiki. Maybe we'll see Shiki. Um, who else could be in this? Like if we saw Whitebeard, Shiki, Big Mom, and Rocks, and because those are like the early guys, that would be really cool. And it also makes you wonder: did Rocks have like an actual giant on his crew, or maybe an alliance with some of the underground giants? Because we know Whitebeard is huge, right? Whitebeard, Big Mom, these are huge. Kaido, but Captain John. Captain John's a human size, so I don't know. This is just. I'm just excited, bro. I'm excited to see. Anytime it's Rocks Pirates, we're excited. He asked Loki if they were in Elbaf and if Hera was around. Oh, bro, that's wild, bro. What? I completely missed that. I'm just thinking about the Rocks, and I'm like not really thinking about what happened here. Rocks Pirates appeared and asked if Loki is around, or if Harold is around. They asked Loki. So this is how Rocks met Loki. What the fuck? This is crazy, bro. He asked Loki if Harold is. Yo, I wonder. Do you guys think Loki try to fight Rocks? He's like, "Who are you?" That'd be really cool. That'd be super cool. Oh, bro, I wish Kaido was here, but he's just not gonna be here. If they were. The other thing too is I'm trying to. So he's asking Loki if they're in Elbaf. It's kind of weird, right? Wait, when was Loki banished, or not banished? When was he crucified? 6 years ago? Is that when? Yeah. So this is still child Loki. Um. Wow, bro. Okay, so let's continue here. I feel like we've been this is probably gonna give us more information. It's revealed that Rocks met Harold at the Reverie. No way, bro. Yo, no way. There's no way. What? It's revealed that Rocks met Harold at the Reverie? But after Rocks killed a Marine admiral, he became a wanted man. No way, bro. What the? There's no way, yo. This is crazy. Wait. No. This is, bro. Does Roger doesn't even have what? Rocks was different. Yo, bro, what the wait, hold up. Cuz for so long I've been saying Rocks is number 1. Rocks is the guy. He's ahead of Roger, ahead of Whitebeard. He killed an admiral 56 years ago. Nah, bro, that reverie was popping, bro. Bro, that reverie is like it's even crazy. That's even crazier than the Cobra reverie. And that reverie had wait, was that because that reverie had Cobra? That reverie had we still don't know if that. I'm assuming that was Shamrock right now. Shanks. Do we still don't know for sure, but that's probably Shamrock. And then that reverie was just crazy, bro. You had the revolutionaries, you had Sabo in there. But bro, this is like no, bro, what the? He killed a Marine admiral. Rox D. Zebek. It's revealed that Rox met Harold. What does that does that mean Rox was like a king? Oh, you know what's interesting too is because right now, bro. Okay, so I have a theory here. We know Blackbeard is trying to do a pirate kingdom, right? He wants to be part of the world government. Which, if that was the case, right? If Blackbeard becomes a king, he would have to be incorporated into the world government reveries as well. Now, is this because he was inspired by Rox D. Zebek? And he's like, Rox D. Zebek was a pirate who also somehow created a kingdom of pirates. Like, is maybe that's why? Because look, I've always had the theory that Blackbeard and Luffy, their dream is the same thing. They want a kingdom of pirates. We know that's Blackbeard's dream, right? He wants a kingdom of pirates. Maybe it's and because that just sounds like kind of like something where you could tie in Luffy and Blackbeard in the same way. And the thing is, Luffy's version of that would look so different. And you know that'd be interesting if Rox, in a way, is the one who actually achieved his dream. Because you got to realize, Goldie Roger accomplished insane. He has an insane legacy, a legendary status. He sailed the entire world. He found the One Piece. He circumnavigated the globe multiple times, and then it's like we know Roger's feats. You know, this was a guy who could go up against Garp, Sengoku, the greatest Marines ever, right? And he had no issue fighting against. Like he's telling them, bring him out. We don't want to fight against your fodder, soft Marines. Bring out Sengoku and Garp so we can have some fun, right? So, I mean, we know Roger was that guy. He was the king of the pirates. But who's to say Rox D. Zebek was not, in a way, like another literal king of the pirates, right? Like he had the nobility. And it also makes you wonder, was Rox D. Zebek, was he like, because was he born into a royal family? And he created this culture of piracy within that, because this is before the era of pirates. Rox D. Zebek may have been somebody who was just like a kind of a revolutionary of his time in terms of piracy. He had to be something on par with Roger, and that would make sense why we don't know anything about Rox. If he had a kingdom of pirates, and they're like, we can never allow anything like this to happen again. We don't want any pirates to know what can happen when you got Yonko level characters all teaming up. When you got Rox, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki. So it's like, bro, the fact that why did he kill him? Why was he this unhinged, bro? Yo, Rox was different. He became a wanted man. And it's also interesting because, so this is, oh wait, because is this implying this is the reason? Is this the reason that Rox became a pirate? Like, did Rox kill a marine, an admiral at the Reverie, and that's the moment he became a wanted man and became a pirate? Or did he already, maybe he was already plotting and and had his crew with him and everything. And I don't know, but this is just like, because Big Mom and Whitebeard are older. Big Mom age 68. Nah, but because how old was Big Mom? Was Kid Big Mom? How old was Big Mom when she became pirate? Yeah, so Big Mom is wild too. Big Mom she was 6 years old when she became a pirate. We know when she was 24, she was already a Rocks pirate member, and that's when she encountered Kaido. But what? Because do we know when Big Mom became a pirate? Was it when she was 6 years old, or was it a little later? I'm not sure. So here, I turned it up too. Thanks, chat. I turned up the volume, but let me know if it's good now. But yeah, Big Mom. Because I'm also wondering, when did Big Mom join? Was Big Mom at the Reverie? I'm sorry. Like, it seems from this very brief spoilers that Rox Dizabek was a king maybe before, and because he met Harold at the Reverie. And what is he trying to talk to Harold about? Is he trying to talk to him about? Wait, no, bro, wait, because Harold brought up Pluton probably at the Reverie. What the? Yo, did Harold bring up Pluton and the ancient shipwrights at the Reverie, and then Rox is like, I need that ship. Bro, what the was God Valley? Could you imagine if God Valley was Rox Dizabek trying to acquire Pluton? They're, like, this is like this might be one of the best chapters ever, bro. As far as like, just maybe, am I reading too much into this, or is like, because we begin this chapter with Galila, and he's talking about Galila, and now it's like, why? Because why is Rox requesting to talk to King Harold? I'm kind of confused. Wait, no, okay, because I don't know, because it's okay. So because Shanks told Harold not to talk about a certain topic, so I'm assuming, because when was that? That was like 12 years ago, right? So maybe he didn't bring it up back at the Reverie 50 years ago, whatever. Or wait, 56 years. Yeah, because so I wonder if he brought it up back then and then was going to bring it back up again. Or maybe Harold was going to bring up Rox Dizabek at the Reverie. I don't know, bro. This is like getting crazy. All right, let's finish this chat, because I got kind of like the timelines messed up. But yeah, I think because Shanks was warning him, and I'm wondering now if he was warning him to not bring up Pluton and Rox. There's a lot in this chapter, bro. What the? All right. So we see Rox Dizabek full face. He has two-tone hair and looks similar to Blackbeard. Okay. That's no way. No way. That's because Rox was Blackbeard. Yo. Rox Dizabek was. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, my bad. So Pluton was always at Wano though, not God Valley. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was wrong about that. Yeah, scratch that. But I still think that he maybe he was looking for some clues about Pluton or maybe other ancient weapons, right? Because maybe it's like, yeah, he heard about Pluton, but then it's like, okay, what about these other weapons? Because it seems Rox knew, he had information, man. And if Rox Dizabek was, we gotta find out where he's from. Where is Rox from? Because if he's a king of an ancient kingdom connected to the Void Century, because look at Harold, right? Harold has ancient information about Galilor probably, and like, so if he was, if he had, because similar to Cobra too, Cobra had ancient information about Queen Lily, and he was putting pieces together. Maybe Rox had information on like the Lunarians or something. Because if you remember, the Lunarians, there's something interesting with the Lunarians. When they're first kind of introduced into the story, it's Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom, the only characters in the story who know about Lunarians. And then we find out like Vegapunk knows about them too. But at first it's specifically the Rocks pirates who know about them. Right? It's like, is that a coincidence? No, because Whitebeard is telling these stories, these drunken stories that he's never really talking about unless he's drunk, to Marco and his crewmates and Blackbeard. And so it's kind of implying like if he's hiding this information, maybe it's because he doesn't want to talk about what happened with the Rocks pirates, right? Because we know Whitebeard doesn't like what happened with the Rocks pirates. He's not a fan of it and how it all ended. It kind of implies that when he meets Odin. So, and then you have Kaido who knows about Lunarians, and Big Mom who's hunting King and requesting her to join the crew, requesting him to join the crew. So it was really interesting that maybe Rox knew about the secrets of, he knew the secrets of. Wait, I just thought of. Oh my, bro, we have so many theories to go through, bro. What the fuck? What it, because this is getting wild, bro. So, what if Rox Dizabek was the king of God Valley? God Valley was an island in the West Blue unaffiliated with the world government, where their so-called God Valley incident took place. The island has since disappeared without a trace. Geography. The island was characterized by tall, steep cliffs. No, but okay, so 38 years ago, God Valley became the site of perennial native hunting competition where the local population and some slaves were brought. So there was a local population, slaves. They were hunted by sport for the world nobles. The reason for the island being chosen as host for the event was attributed to his name, thought to be blasphemous by the celestial dragon community. So what if God Valley was an ancient, it was like a surviving relic of the Lunarian homeland? Maybe it was a place where the Lunarians kind of went to escape. The surviving ones kind of came together, right? To hide out. I don't know, but I'm really interested. Like, it would be cool if, bro, it would be cool if the God Valley incident is like Rox returning to his hometown, his home city where he once ruled. And he knows there's something there that he needs to find. There's some treasure in God Valley. I don't know, but there's a lot of, there's so many theories here. God Valley. Because if you think about God Valley and like the Lunarians are the former gods, and they're connected with the Rocks pirates, like I said. I don't know, bro. There's a lot we could talk about here, but this is like this reveal. So Blackbeard. Oh my gosh, bro. Blackbeard is Rox Dizabek's son, and that makes sense why Whitebeard was like, you know what? We'll take you in. Because I gotta go back and watch. You remember that clip when it's Blackbeard begging to be brought onto the crew, and he's like an orphan, and the moment when he meets Whitebeard. I gotta search this up in anime real quick. Hold up, bro. This is. By the way, guys, make sure you like the stream and subscribe to the channel as well. Hey, guys. So we've we've kind of caught up to the spoilers here. I gotta hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and we're gonna read some super chats. We're gonna read chat in a minute, but this is like, let me know you guys' theories. What are you guys thinking? What do you think this is all about? We gotta really dive into this stuff. But I gotta search up that Blackbeard clip real quick. Kid Blackbeard joins Whitebeard. Cause I'm just like, bro, this is. Do you think that that Whitebeard, cause he had to have seen the resemblance, right? Like he's, yo, and I just realized, bro, this, oh yo, oh, this is crazy for this, man. Because if you think about it, it's like Whitebeard had the crew of orphans, and he has Rox Dizabek's son on the same crew with Goldie Rogers' son. And when you think about everything kind of coming together, the whole situation, Ace versus Blackbeard, Rock's son versus Roger's son, this is like a fated battle. And you know, because Blackbeard did bring that up. He's like, this, but he was talking about the devil fruits. He said, this is darkness versus light, because they're devil fruits clashing, right? But this is like, this goes beyond destiny. This is life. Oh man, yo, I really, because I'm like, Whitebeard had to have known the moment he's seen Blackbeard. This is Rock's son. And where did he find him? Like where was Blackbeard raised? What town is this? This can't be God Valley. So I'm watching an anime clip right now. He's like, we're no fishermen, we're pirates. Please. I got no place to go. And he's begging Whitebeard. What's your name? Teach. Oh, and then you see that stare on Whitebeard. And I want, because there's no way they knew when they were animating this that it was that it was Rox Dizabek's son, right? I gotta see in the manga was was this in the manga? Blackbeard joins Whitebeard's crew. Manga. Oh, it is crazy, bro. Oh, it is so crazy for this. And it's funny too, because it is like the obvious answer. It is such an obvious answer that Blackbeard's father is Rox Dizabek. But you know what I think is interesting too, and I like this kind of different path that we're seeing, where Luffy doesn't even know anything about his father. But it seems like Blackbeard knows. Like, Whitebeard probably told him a bunch of stories when they were drunk, and he was like, yeah, that's Rock's guy is your father. And he was he was the greatest pirate ever. But yeah, that's cool, because Blackbeard grew up listening to these legendary stories, and oh man, this is just it's such a good moment for Blackbeard, and not only him, just the whole Whitebeard crew, man, because you get to see. Oh, I hope we get to see like those scenes too, because there has to be those scenes where, you know, he's telling Whitebeard's telling Ace about his father, and he's telling Blackbeard about he's telling the stories of Roger and Rox's battles, and it's like and yeah, man, this is just so cool, man. This is all right. Let's see. Was this an anime? I don't think this was an anime, or I don't think this was in the manga. Kid Blackbeard joins Whitebeard. What was this? Chat, was this was Blackbeard meeting Whitebeard as a kid? Was this in the manga? I feel like it was only in the anime, right? Joins Whitebeard. Kid Blackbeard joins Whitebeard. Manga. Wait, how about this? Blackbeard meets Whitebeard. Manga. No, I don't think this was, bro. I think this was like an anime only scene. But it is cool to see like Whitebeard stare into him like that's Rock's son. It does fit so perfect. And Ah, this is so cool, bro. Man, Loki getting abused was something. Yeah, Lee trolling, man. Hey, appreciate you guys in the chat, man. There's 19 people in here. Make sure you guys like the stream. Um, yeah. So Miles, so it's he said it was in the manga. Do you remember what? Can someone find the chapter for me? If not, it's cool, but I'm gonna have to go back and read the Odin flashback and skim through that and find it because I have to see this. I can't find it, bro. I'm search. I'm like, there's no panel of this. Here, let me do the Kid Blackbeard Odin flashback. I will find it later, but it's cool. Because I remember Blackbeard was in the Odin flashback, but I just couldn't remember if that moment was. Garb told Kong that rocks came to God Valley because they stole the treasure of Hachinosu from them. Everything is coming together. Dinesh Tiwari, shout out to you, man. Feels like a small world. Yeah, this is. Yo. But yeah, like I was saying, it's cool. It is cool, like this differentiation between Luffy and Blackbeard, because you got Luffy on one side. He doesn't know anything about um Monkey D. Dragon. And like I said, Blackbeard obviously knows a lot. And to the point where it seems like he's kind of carrying on Rox's will in some ways, and maybe more consciously. Like Luffy is carrying on wills, but unconsciously, right? Like, and Luffy, in his own way, he is a revolution. Like he's a big part of this. But I think one thing is like Blackbeard is honoring Rox Dizabek. Like if Rox Dizabek in his mind is the closest person to what his dream is. Like if Roxy Beg was the one, because you gotta remember, Hachinosu Island was the island of pirates. It was the pirate island, right? So this was probably the original hub of piracy, before Goldie Rogers era in the New World. This is pirate. This is the essence of piracy. And so when you have everything kind of moving through Rocks, like in a way, I'm telling you, in a way, Rocks Dizabeg was an emperor of his own time. And Roger was the only guy really who could come up to him and challenge him. So it seems like he had his own dominant era. And that's going to be cool if we kind of get to see that. Because, yeah, it just seems like before the Yonkos, there was just Rocks Dizabeg and Goldie Roger. And it seems like if it wasn't for God Valley, Rocks would have just been dominating that entire era. But yeah, so like it's cool because you have Hachinosu Island is the most piratey island, and if Blackbeard is saying I want to make this island the pirate kingdom, maybe that was something Rocks was kind of like that. Really could have been what Rocks did. Like Rocks could have lived out his dream to a certain extent, because you got to realize Roger lived out his dream. His dream was to travel the world, probably, and to like find the One Piece or whatever. And I also assume that the One Piece was kind of a legendary treasure even before Roger. But it's just like we didn't know, like we knew way less back then, right? Like now we know more. Like we know about the poneglyphs now, and like so there's kind of more information out there. But it seems like I feel like it's implied that once they got to Lodestar and Roger's like, there's something more, bro. There's something we gotta find. This is not the real treasure. So I feel like the One Piece kind of was always a thing, but when Roger found it, it was like it kind of made the legend a reality in a sense. And so I wonder if I wonder if Roger and Rox's dreams, when you combine them, that is what creates the versions of Blackbeard and Luffy's dream. Like, Blackbeard's dream is to find the One Piece to become the Pirate King, to have his own pirate kingdom. And same thing with Luffy. They both want to kind of incorporate Rox and Roger into their dreams, but in different ways, in much different ways. And like in one sense, Blackbeard is honoring Rox Diesebek's legacy and carrying on that will. And then Luffy is carrying on, he has the straw hat. He's carrying on Roger's will. He trained with Rayleigh. So, that's also cool too, because if you think about it, Blackbeard probably was training with Whitebeard, right? Rox's right-hand man, or maybe second in command, right? Like this was Rox's most trusted pirate. Luffy training with Roger's right-hand man, Silver's Rayleigh. Oh, bro, this is like, Oda's going crazy. This guy's going crazy, bro. I'm gonna have to watch my own stream back because we gotta talk about this in a video. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I might make a whole video for this chapter, bro. Holy, Oda, man, Oda, Oda's going crazy because Rocks. I just can't believe because who is Teach? Like, who is Rox's mother? Because do you think it couldn't be a Rox pirate, right? Like, it had to be. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. What do you guys think is Rox's lineage, right? Because it kind of says here. We see Rox Diesebek's full face. He has a two-toned hair and looks similar to Blackbeard. And that's because Rox was Blackbeard's father. So I gotta see, hold on, because Blackbeard, let me see. Rox Diesebek. Rox Diesebek silhouette. He does kind of look like Blackbeard, bro. He has the crazy hair. But, it's funny because people always said Rox Diesebek looks more like Dragon. What? Could Dragon be connected to Rox? That would be the plot twist of the century, man. Like, I don't know. How old is Blackbeard? And by the way, because we already know, we already know Shanks was found on God Valley. Like, they got him in the treasure chest. So, is it possible? Is it possible that Blackbeard was also at God Valley? Wait, was he old enough? How age? One Piece. Okay. He's 40 years old. How old is Shanks? 40? So Shanks is 1 year old or 1 year younger. Man, bro, Blackbeard was probably at God Valley. Actually, I don't know though, because these are pirates at the end of the day, right? Like, there's a good chance Blackbeard was probably born and wifey is at some random island, maybe a Hachinosu island. So we don't know exactly what happened there, but there's a good chance he's like, yeah, this is like my big moment. We're not bringing the kid on the ship. You're staying home, right? You gotta stay home, and so there's a chance that Blackbeard and the mom was just on some other island, but it's interesting too because Roger, they hunted the entire world for Ace and his mother, right? They were looking everywhere for any trail of Roger's lineage. So I wonder, like, could that be a similar story with Blackbeard too? Because we know he's an orphan. Could it be a thing where we see him Blackbeard's mother was captured or something, but maybe she left him at some kind of orphanage or like. Because it seems like there's a good chance they were looking for Blackbeard's son. And by the way, we know he's well a D as well. So I don't know, bro. It just seems like there's so many interesting questions here. And I gotta, because Blackbeard, it is gonna be funny seeing Blackbeard's face on Rock's Dieselback. That's gonna be hilarious. I hope he's not looking too similar, because Blackbeard does look goofy, man. Rock's Dieselback. Is he gonna have the nose? But as you know, and the thing is, the one thing we do know, Rock's Dieselback seems to have a full mouth of teeth. Unless those are like veneers or something. He's got a pirate grill in his mouth. But I don't know, bro. I think I just, bro, we're getting a face reveal for Rock. Yo, this shit is crazy. And you know what's interesting too? Do you think maybe Loki joins Blackbeard? Nah, right? I don't think so, bro. But like Blackbeard is like the modern day Rocks. They both have an enemy in Shanks. But I don't know, like that, because it's like Blackbeard is at the same time an enemy to Luffy. I feel like Luffy and Loki kind of have a bond by the end of this arc. And by the way, this is like assuming that Loki survives. Like I said, I'm not sure Loki's surviving this arc. When you get a character this tragic, and it just seems like what could Loki's role be? It seems like it's something. It seems like Loki's role is to go berserk in Elbaf. He's not the real sun god. It's gonna be something where he realizes Luffy is the true sun god. But I mean, you never know. Like Loki might just be like a agent of chaos, right? Like he might be some kind of god of war that just turns up, and once he starts going after the world government, it's like, okay, yeah, this is Ragnarok, bro. This is end times. So maybe Whitebeard helped Rouge and Garp by betraying Rock, so Blackbeard took revenge on Whitebeard and revenge on Roger by capturing Ace, and now Garp is in his capture. Oh yeah, that's true. Because we do assume like Whitebeard somehow betrayed Rocks in the end, and I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's possible. You know, one thing I always thought was maybe Blackbeard was like, or maybe Rocks Dieselback was telling Whitebeard like, look, man, and by the way, because we always assume Whitebeard betrayed Rocks, but I'm always like, in my mind, I'm like, what if Rocks betrayed Whitebeard? Because it just seems if this is like the Blackbeard of the era, doesn't that make a lot more sense? Like, we know Whitebeard's deep down a good guy, bro. This guy's loyal. He's a right-hand man. Like, does it make sense for Whitebeard of all people to betray his captain? It's like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Unless he was doing something crazy like attacking children, right? Like fodderizing children. Like, I don't know. It just seems like I really do think there's more to this story than people want to assume. I really think that Rocks was someone who put Whitebeard in like an impossible situation. And by the way, if we're looking at God Valley as where there's like an ancient weapon here, or some kind of ancient powerful technology, like it might be a situation where they might have blown up the entire island. Or like maybe Whitebeard destroyed the entire island. Like, and there's a thing, like I think I talked about this in a video where it's like, maybe Rocks told Whitebeard, take me out, bro. Take me out. I'm going down with the ship. Use your ultimate power. Destroy this island. And like, imagine if Rocks gave him that command. Take me out. This is the way I'm going out. We're going to take down God Valley, take down as many celestial dragons as possible, as many Roger pirates as possible. We're going out on a bang. We did not come here. We came here knowing full well this might be the end. So I think like there's a chance where, yeah, like Rocks told him, yeah, destroy the entire island. and that was like his last command to Whitebeard. But and that's interesting too because people assume Whitebeard betrayed Rocks, and then maybe through Kaido's eyes, it's like, yeah, Whitebeard betrayed him, but he doesn't know the full context. He doesn't know that Rocks commanded him to do it. But yeah, I do think there's a very good chance that Rocks actually was the one who betrayed his own crew. Like that just that's black. That's literally Blackbeard, bro. That's like, did you know that the actual Blackbeard pirate in the world was known for attacking his own crew members and like shooting them in the foot, or just killing his own crew members. So I think if we're looking at Rocks in a similar sense, there's a very good chance that he would do some crazy stuff like that. I just think he's a very unhinged person, but there's so many mysteries to Rocks. And just it's starting to make sense because we got the what was the one thing we got to go back to this, so I kind of want to look into this more, guys. What do you think about Rocks Diesebek and his two-tone hair? Because I had a theory in the past that, is it possible, and this is probably not the case anymore. I don't think this is true anymore because it's like we know what Blackbeard is. He's not a Lunarian. But is it possible that that Rocks Diesebek was a Lunarian who cut off his own wings or had his own wings cut off? Because if you remember, was it NL in One Piece? There was a character in Skypiea who cut off his own wings, or who didn't have wings. I believe it was NL. Could be wrong, but yeah. Anyways, I wonder if, yeah. Oh, he said, I wonder if his hair is red. I don't think it's going to be red. That would be a crazy twist, bro. He's a Garling, or he's a Figurlin. Blackbeard. Yeah, Could you imagine, bro? He's a Figurlin, half D, half celestial dragon. Oh, so I see what you're saying. So you're saying Rocks Diesebek, it doesn't necessarily mean it's his dad, or it doesn't have to mean dad, but Rocks. Wait, I don't get what you're saying because you're saying, I'm not sure what you mean, Tornado. Like, Blackbeard is his father, right? Now I'm assuming, of course, biological, and Blackbeard was only like 1 year old by the time of God Valley. Okay, so, but yeah, I'm just interested on the two-tone hair because it's like, let me see, One Piece two-tone hair. Hey, it'd be really funny too if it's. It'd be hilarious if Rocks Diesebek has half green hair and half yellow hair for like Zoro and Sanji. That would never happen. That'd be funny. But maybe it's something with his devil fruit. Maybe it's something with like he was struck by lightning or something, like he has crazy hair like that. But I'm trying to think. One Piece hairstyles. D-Clan One Piece. Oh man, this is crazy, bro. Like, I don't even know where to start with this. This is like, it is kind of funny. Like, it is hilarious. This was the most obvious theory ever, and it is true. And I feel like I always thought Oda wouldn't do it because it is way too obvious, right? Like Blackbeard being Rock's father is like the most obvious theory in the world, and so, but it is interesting because it's like one of those things where everyone assumed Luffy was Roger's son, right? Like everyone assumed that in this like Minato Naruto situation, but in this case, it's where we get like a plot twist also because we also assume before it was revealed that Ace was Roger's son, we thought Luffy was Roger's son. But then it's like, okay, so Dragon gets revealed as Luffy's father in Water 7. So yeah, it's kind of cool that like he gave us the obvious one with Blackbeard. Ah, oh, what'd be crazy? This would be wild. Could you imagine if? All right, I gotta think this through for a second, real quick. Because how old would um, Rocks Roger is how old? Or no, not Roger. Garb. One Piece age. So Garb is 78 years old. So that means Roger would be around that age, right? Now, oh, could you imagine if? Could you imagine if this is just such a troll of a? Could you imagine if So imagine if Rocks, if imagine if Blackbeard's mother is Luffy's aunt. Like imagine if somehow it's like the woman that Dragon ended up with was maybe the daughter or sister or cousin of someone that Rocks D's a bet got with. So Blackbeard's mom. That would be such a funny twist, bro. Like Luffy and Blackbeard would literally be cousins at that point, and not just on some Willa D. Like this is like an actual like. But yeah, do you guys? Because I'm assuming that similar to how Roge was a D member, Dragon's wifey or whoever was another D member. Same thing with Rocks as well. So that would be kind of a funny twist there. If or maybe if Garb's like sister is Blackbeard's mother. Nah, there's no way though, because his name is Zebek, or his name is Teach. Yeah, there's no way. But it would have to be like Dragon's girl's sister or cousin or mother. I don't know, just a thought, I guess, just an idea. But that two tone hair thing is really gonna drive me crazy until we see it in the manga, and until we see it colored too, because we gotta see the exact color. Because you know how it is in the manga, bro. We're not gonna know the exact color for ages, and people are gonna be speculating for so long. Hopefully, Oda confirms it like quick, like it within like a couple months, like an SBS or something, or somehow. The weird thing too is because Black. Do you think? Do you think Teach was like maybe some kind of giant, or because that's the other part we got to remember. Blackbeard has a weird body. It's implied he's like, because isn't it implied he's like some kind of uh oh wait, Blackbeard race. Wasn't it implied that he was a weird race? Or am I just off on that? I think people were assuming he's like a buccaneer, maybe. So maybe Rox's wifey was a buccaneer. Oh wait, by the way, let me update this on the screen. So you can see the full end of the spoilers. So, but yeah, what was that? What was I saying? Yeah, is it possible like the Teach family is Buccaneer or some ancient race? But then again, it's like, what is Roxy hair, bro? That's really interesting. Could he have Lunarian genes? Maybe he's not Lunarian, but it's so far distant in his ancestry, where it's like he has the white hair or little fades of it. That would be kind of cool, like little highlights. Roxy. This is just a banger of a chapter. Um, so we see Rock's face. And I'm just like, we still, because this guy killed an admiral. Oh, man, like, this is. What a way to go out, man. Like, what a way to just become a pirate. Because he became a wanted man with that action. It's really implying that he was a king of some sort, some kind of royal before that event. And then, like, why is he asking for Harold? Oh, there's so many questions right here. Like, man. But it is cool. The one cool thing is, like, it is cool to see Loki meet his idol, right? Like, this is kind of, we're going to understand why he looks up to rocks. Like, it's very similar into the sense of how Luffy was inspired by Shanks. Like, this guy comes in to the place where he's living. He's the most legendary pirate of his time. And, you know, he kind of betrays the world government. He backstabs them. And you got to remember, Loki was someone who also hated the world government because there was that, I forgot what chapter it was. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. There was that one chapter where we find out that Loki, he does not trust the world government. He's like telling Harold like we shouldn't be involved with this. Let's see if I can pull this up. And while I'm pulling this up, guys, make sure you guys like the stream. Appreciate everybody here. We got 19 people. Let me know your thoughts on the chapter so far, on the spoilers. What do you guys think is, what are your thoughts, man? What are your predictions? What are your theories? But yeah, I mean, let me see. TCB, One Piece. Let's go. It was 151, I believe. Could be before even, but check this out. Okay. So Loki. No, okay, so it was 152. So yeah, so 14 years ago, Elbaf, Quest Castle. So he summoned you to Loki, something like that. This is my family's home, you know. You seem well, old man. Haven't grown sick of life yet. Okay, I wonder what he wants. It's hard to care about. It's hard to care about the whims of a government dog. He sold out to the people who killed rocks. If that's the direction Elbaf is heading, then I'll oppose it. That line speaks a lot about Loki's story and his connection to rocks. Because if Rocks is the guy who betrayed the world government, and then he killed a marine, he became a wanted man in the Reverie, and Loki's like calling them the whims of the government dogs. That's like it's like King Harold in this sense is like the opposite of Rocks. the guy who he looks up to. This guy is kind of selling out to the government and kind of playing politics, where Rocks is the opposite. He's like, no, I'm going to do it my way. You're not going to tell me what to do. And he became an outlaw. Wow. So that's interesting too, because it's like he really took it personal. It's like it's hard to care about the whims, or he sold out to the people who killed Rocks. And it's like, yeah, Rocks is a pirate. Of course they had to kill him, right? And the most dangerous pirate ever, probably. So he's not seeing it like that, though. He's seeing it as this was the enemy of Rocks. These are the enemies. Yeah, it really is like maybe in a sense like how Luffy would see it if the government killed Shanks. I really hope we get to see more interactions between Loki and Rocks. Like there has to be more than him just seeing this firsthand. I mean that's enough probably if you're because you got to think if you're if you're witnessing one of the goats firsthand, that's gonna change your life and your perspective. And then I wonder if Rocks, what he was there to discuss, was he there to tell Harold something that was about the reverie? Was he there to ask him for some kind of help, an alliance maybe, or maybe some kind of he was recruiting a pirate, he was recruiting maybe King Harold himself. He needed information on the world government. Like there's a lot of it's a lot of questions, but I mean, they met at the reverie, so we can assume they have some kind of connection. Maybe, hopefully, it's more than just a meeting, and it's like, yeah, they had a conversation, an interesting conversation, and some kind of bond there. Maybe even if it's very simple, it doesn't have to be this deep alliance or anything, but just they had an interesting conversation that made them stand out to each other. Okay, let me read some super chats real quick. Pluton was on okay. How did Teach scar Shanks when he had the mark? Could it be that he knocked Teach out and Rocks took over his body and did it? That's why he can't sleep. That's an interesting question. How did he scar Shanks when he had the mark? You're talking about the world government mark, right? The Figurlin mark. Maybe Rock's son Blackbeard will fulfill his goal and capture Pluton from Wano. That'd be interesting. Actually, I've been saying that for a while. Blackbeard is going after Pluton. You got to remember, Shanks was predicting Blackbeard to show up at Wano. It's kind of implied that's the reason he was there, to confront Blackbeard. And so there has to be a reason why. Now, the question then becomes, does Shanks know about the ancient weapons? Does he know about Pluton? Maybe, right? Because he might have known from Gabon or Rayleigh, or I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, man, this is a chapter for sure. Crow was right. Yeah, he was right, man. Like he was. This is wow, and it's just so cool. We're seeing all this through Loki's flashback, by the way. Like it's just this is such an older way of doing it. We we wanted to see this type of stuff in Kaido's flashback, but we're getting it in a completely separate character. No one would have expected Loki to be tied to Rocks. Who would have thought? Genuinely, Che, if you be honest, who would have thought that you would have seen Rocks incorporated into Loki's backstory at this level? Like it would be cool to see, like, oh, he was influenced by him and inspired by him. But this is like next level, bro. This is like, and it is. It doesn't. It feels a lot more genuine when Loki's a stan of Rocks Zebek, when he's met him in person, when he's seen him in the flesh. I also wonder, do you guys think Zebek had Blackbeard's fruit, the darkness fruit? Do you think Roxy Zebek had a fruit? Because I don't know if it's I'm not 100% saying it is, because I also think there was an ancestor in the past of the Void Century, maybe of the Blackbeard family, the Teach family, or the Zebek family, or because I feel like Joy Boy is Luffy is the new Joy Boy reincarnation. So Blackbeard and Zebek might have been something else. Roger and Luffy are something else. So there may have been someone in the ancient kingdom time who had that fruit, and that's why Blackbeard calls it the strongest fruit, because maybe that's the fruit that defeated Joy Boy. Because I genuinely I don't think Emu defeated Joy Boy. I'm sorry, I just can't see it. Do it like look at the way Emu pisses himself the moment he even senses a fraction of that hockey, and it's like, yeah, there's no way. And so I think there was a way where like the Blackbeard of their time, the Zebek of their time, was someone who maybe backstabbed Joy Boy, or just overpowered him, or kind of unfairly and very sneakily defeated him, or took advantage of a situation where Emu fought Joy Boy and then he's kind of weakened and caught off guard. I don't know the exact thing, but I really do think that there's a situation like that. I don't think Joy Boy just straight up lost a 1v1 versus Emu. That's insane. Um, but yeah, if that's the fruit he had to defeat Joy Boy, which makes sense too, because it's like it's a contrasting effect of Sun God and then the goddess of darkness, right? So it would make sense that whoever the ancient evil D member was had that fruit, and he was destined to fight Joy Boy, and then now Luffy and Blackbeard are destined to be enemies. So if Blackbeard's like, this is the strongest fruit ever, maybe it's because he knows that there was a pirate who was erased similar to Rocks, but during the Void Century, and that pirate had the darkness fruit. So yeah, I have a whole video planned on this about this other character, this other mysterious pirate we still don't know yet during the Void Century. There's a lot of stuff in the Void Century where I'm like, there's a missing link that we just don't know. It doesn't make sense. The Celestial Dragons were supposedly having these like intense militaries. There's all these ancient technologies, and you're trying to tell me Joy Boy just lost? Because you got to think too, if the ancient kingdom had all this ancient weapons and everything, ancient technology, how on earth do you expect me to believe this kingdom with all this technology was defeated by Emu? So D in the chat, he said, as Blackbeard's father theory has been around since chapter 957. Yeah, it's facts. Yeah, Blackbeard's father, that theory's been around since the God Valley chapter. Well, that was 957. So, and by the way, I was that wait, oh, was 957 the God Valley chapter or the Rocks Pirates chapter? I think that was the Rocks Pirates chapter, right? Where we find out that there was a crew called the. So what? Yeah, then that was the chapter we find out about the Rocks Pirates. I don't think the God Valley stuff was until a few chapters later, maybe the next chapter. But yeah, whenever we found out about Rocks, everyone's like, that was probably Blackbeard's father. Which, and back then we didn't know anything about Rocks. But it's like, you kind of got to start wondering, because Luffy's father being dragon was such a big reveal, and it makes so much sense just impact wise. And Luffy's this legendary figure, him having a family like the monkey family with Garp and Dragon. It's like, okay, yeah, Blackbeard's gonna get something. Same thing with Shanks. We knew Shanks would get something eventually. Shanks was really cool. He got the Garling family, the Figurlin Garling reveal. He got the Figurlins. Um, and that's another thing too, because we're getting these reveals now, and it's like we know Shanks has a brother. We know Blackbeard's father. Yeah, I'm really interested, man. Like, Blackbeard's crew was crazy, bro. Like, you had the son of Roxy Zebek, the son of Goldie Roger, and then Odin, the son of Odin, technically, right? Like, Momonosuke was part of the crew for a little, even if he was only 2 years old. Yeah, a lot of legendary children who became legendary pirates on these crews. Because now on the other side, you have. Yo, that's so cool, man. Yes, that's super cool. You got Blackbeard, Shanks, Buggy. They were the three kind of. They were the three children brought up by Whitebeard and Roger. Who is Buggy's father? Chat, who is Buggy's father? Are we gonna find out that Buggy is like Emu's son? There has to be some crazy, because you're telling me Luffy's father, all the Yonko, right? We got Luffy, he has Monkey D, Dragon, and Garp. Willa D. Shanks has the Figurlin family. And then you have Blackbeard, who has Rox D Zebek, Will of D. Who could Buggy's father or mother be? I feel like there's something missing here. Like, there has to be there's gonna be something with Buggy where it's like, oh, that's a wild turn of events. And because you got to remember, even if Buggy doesn't become Pirate King, he's gonna have something in the end where he might be a king of some island or whatever. Like, he's going to get something, man. Like, he's not just gonna walk away with nothing. And I feel like there might be, at this point, who knows whose Buggy's family could be. And I'm not saying it has to be a Willa D, but like, it would be cool if even if Buggy just had like a interesting family lineage there. But yeah, man, I feel like I gotta make a video on this chapter. I feel like we gotta come in with a few theories, and there's a lot, bro. That Fujitora thing we were talking about earlier, I really do think that's gonna happen. I think I've kind of sat on this for a minute now. I think it was something connected to Fujitora's past. Maybe not Fujitora himself, probably his close friend or maybe his captain, right? The leader of his army or whatever. But definitely like that. That's probably because Fujitora is probably from Wano as well. Yeah, that kind of reveal that Fujitora is from Wano, and we kind of see that, oh, maybe his backstory is tied to all this, and this guy who's been buried in Wano. That would be something where it's at least interesting, kind of a cool reveal for Yamato's backstory, or for Yamato's cover story. But I feel like we need something, right? And even if it's not, I don't know, even if it's not that, it has to be something cool, because otherwise I'm just like, bro, we got to get going with this cover story, man. We got to see Blackbeard or something. Like, I'm also thinking that Lafitte is probably in Wano. Because remember, Shanks, he kind of assumed that Blackbeard would be in Wano. So it'd be cool if Lafitte is in Wano. Although, I'm not sure how that would work, because it was kind of, wasn't it implied that Lafitte was at the Reverie? Because he was kind of commentating and breaking down the entire situation with the celestial dragons in the Revolutionary Army. Oh, that's a cool idea. So Famlam said Rox was the one who killed Zephyr's family. Now that would be cool, bro. You know how cool that would be? Because Oda has been incorporate like he incorporated Shiki years later into the Rocks crew, and then like he's been kind of incorporating these movie things. So because even in Film Red, and by the way, guy, I'm pretty sure because Uta is not canon, right? Like there's no way. I feel like that was I don't know what that was. I still have no. I'm still confused, but yeah, that would be cool. That actually would be a cool theory. Rox was the one who killed Zephyr family. I might, you know what? Here, I'm gonna. If I make a video on this, I'm gonna shout that out for you, and just write this note down real quick. Rox was the one who killed Zephyr family. So yeah, I mean that's a really cool idea, and then it makes so I see what you're saying. So does that kind of imply that Rox also killed Zephyr? Is that kind of what we're saying here? Like, that's what popped off at the Reverie? Like, One Piece, Zephyr. Because in the Zephyr, like what we know of this is like, let me see. I haven't seen this in a while. So, and by the way, I've never seen the full movie. I've kind of just looked at like I've seen like videos on Z and I kind of know the basics, but I've never actually watched the full movie. The only movies I've seen is Film Red, Film Gold, I believe was Shiki, right? Was that Film Gold? I've seen like two or three. I haven't seen all the movies in One Piece. Um, I've seen like clips and stuff. I've seen a few Stampede clips but so I hold on because I gotta find so the Marines relationships. Here we go. Family. At age 38, Z got married. 1 year later, his son was born. He loved his wife and son very dearly, and after that, they'd been killed at the hands of a pirate. He wished to resign his position as an admiral. Out of grief, however, he was persuaded to stay. Okay, so we know for sure they were killed by the hands of a pirate. I don't know though, because I'm not sure because it's like the way the way they're kind of making this seem. Unless I'm getting this wrong, because to me it implies Rox Diesebeg was a royal member who was at the Reverie, and that moment he kind of made his like Darth Vader moment where he betrayed everyone and became a pirate, became an outlaw. But I guess I could be wrong. Is it possible that he infiltrated as a pirate already, and he kind of infiltrated the world government? Like, has anyone ever infiltrated? I guess it's possible he was already a pirate before that, but I don't know. Because in this spoiler it says, doesn't it say something about that he became an outlaw during that moment? Let's see. So it says it's revealed that Rox killed a Marine admiral and became a wanted man. So yeah, it doesn't say that's the reason why, but I think it kind of is connecting the two. So I guess we'll have to wait for the full spoilers. It says yeah, because it's kind of weird how they word it after. Oh wait, so I also read this wrong. So it says it's revealed that Rox met Harold at the Reverie, and after that, Rox killed a Marine and became. So it doesn't say like right after he met him or after the Reverie. Right? We don't know if it was at the Reverie. It could have been like later on. He killed a Marine, but yeah, I guess we don't know. That's also kind of ambiguous. We don't know for sure how that timeline plays out, but it's in the same line, so I'm kind of assuming it's all together. But we just have to wait for the chapter because that's not very clear on if he attacked the admiral at the Reverie or because if it's at the Reverie, I'm assuming he was already a royal member who was there. If it's not at the Reverie, then he probably was already a pirate. It's possible he was already a pirate. So we'll have to wait and see. But all right, guys, this was a really fun stream, and it's already getting late for me. So I think I'm gonna call it here. But I appreciate everybody sticking through. We're gonna try to do these every week. So even if it has to be a late stream like this, I wish I could do a video, but we'll save the video for the actual chapter. I think I'm gonna start doing a video for like a chapter video, which is theories and my thoughts. Not really anything too structured, just kind of just a chapter video, just whatever. We don't even need to be too structured with it, with like having it be the same every time, but just have fun with it and just talk about what I want to talk about. There's interesting ideas I have, little theories. Because sometimes it's like I don't want to make a full video on every little theory. And not only just theories, I want to just give my thoughts and everything. So I think it would just be just kind of a just preach style video. We'll kind of figure out the style over time. But yeah, there's just these chapters are really getting good, and there's a lot of content in these chapters. There's so much to talk about and break down, and I think I can give my own interesting perspective and style, kind of twist to it. I have a few ideas in it, but um, I also kind of want to do a thing where I bring the community into it. Like I really like one thing that Grand Line does is he kind of brings he incorporates comments from previous videos. So maybe I can incorporate like a few comments at the end of every video, which kind of like allows you guys to get your shine as well in the comments, and it would just be good community thing, really just for the fans and just my fans that you guys. I really wish I could have been posting this last couple of years, and I wish I had the time to post multiple times a week. But I think we're finally getting I'm finally figuring out a way I can do it. The chapter stuff is definitely not going to be edited well, because if we're posting like chapter stuff, it has to be posted immediately when the chapter drops in that 24 hours, ideally, right? Like couple, maybe 48 at the most. So it's like I'm like maybe I'll edit it myself. What I want to do, by the way, guys, because it's like you guys are here, give you guys a little sneak peek and just thoughts into my ideas for this stuff is like I'm right now I'm thinking of getting a background art for my videos, and then so you see how you can see my PNG kind of talking. What I think I'm gonna do for the chapters is I'm gonna stream my chapters through Streamlabs. I won't stream it, but I'll record. Actually, so it's not gonna be a stream. I'll record the video. I'll script the video and everything, but I'll record it through Streamlabs. Have my PNG talking, right? So I have that animation. But in the background, I'm gonna have a new background where it'll be like a preach background. I'm thinking like God Valley or some cool island, Water 7, one of my favorites. We'll figure it out, but it's gonna be a custom background. And then my guy talking, and then I'll edit like maybe a few panels in between, just kind of to reference things here and there when I bring up a specific point. But it's not going to be anything crazy. Like the editing is going to be way more laid back, chill, mostly just me discussing my ideas. Maybe like really like leaving like a few panels on there for 20, 30 seconds. Like it's not going to be anything crazy as far as editing. But that way it will allow me to pump it out and get it out as fast as possible. Because you got to remember, I still got to edit the video down cut out all the gaps and try to condense it. If I make a mistake when I'm recording it, got to condense all the audio down and cut everything down. So it's, a little bit shorter. It's not, there's not all these weird pauses and me like stuttering here and there. And, there's parts where I also take out, like, if sometimes I say something and then I realize when I'm editing the video, yeah, that's unnecessary. I maybe was repeating myself, or I just said a line twice because I had to, say it better. So there's a lot of things where you edit it down and it becomes maybe a 20-minute video. I think that's the thing I'm gonna do. And then we'll have the PNG kind of talking, and yeah, we'll edit in like a panel, maybe a video, just to kind of give you an idea, visual, for what I'm referencing. But I think it would be cool because I still want to break down a lot of things in the chapters. It's always fun to just discuss everything, and I don't know. I kind of want to do it more, just thinking of like, let's just do this for fun, not worry about the views, and let's just have fun with it, especially with those type of videos. When it comes to like an actual theory video, a full-on video where we get like a custom thumbnail, I think with that type of style, we'll see if we do custom thumbnails for my chapter videos. Probably not, especially at first. If they start doing really well, maybe eventually. But the custom art, it is kind of pricey to be doing that, especially if those videos are not getting crazy views. But the cool thing is, if I can include, like, let's say like a mini theory into my chapter video, that might branch off into like a bigger video. That might branch off into a bigger idea. Or I could always incorporate those mini theories and break them down eventually into like a compilation theory video. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Besides the chapter stuff, I plan on streaming, reacting to spoilers every week. So, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Appreciate everybody who's still here, because I've lost a few. I've been looking at the analytics, man. We've lost a few subs over the last year, and it's fair, man. I haven't been uploading at all. Been super busy, but yeah, we're gonna be streaming spoiler content, chapter content moving forward. I want to do like a chapter reaction to the actual chapter itself. The problem with that too is, so with the spoilers, I can just put the spoilers on screen. And by the way, shout out to Pew Peace on Twitter. But like with the chapter, you can't really put the panel up there, so it's really like just my PNG up there talking, and you guys assuming, just assuming that you've read the chapter, and you're kind of like maybe have it on the side while you're watching. So that type of stream will just be more audio focused, I guess, which is fine. If you guys are anything like me, when I watch One Piece content, I'm not usually looking at the video anyways. I'm mostly listening. So I think that'll be fine. But yeah, so we're planning on spoilers, chapter reactions, and then obviously OPU, we're still doing that every week. Every time there's a chapter. So we're gonna be busy, man. So that chapter reaction, I'm not gonna be worrying about getting it out as fast as possible. I'll probably do it like I did this stream, whenever I get the chance at night. Because you guys gotta remember, it's 12 a.m. for me, and I still gotta go to the gym. I got off of work around like 8, and then I had to get ready for the stream, get everything set up, and then stream for a couple of hours. I still gotta hit the gym. Then I gotta wake up early. Got some stuff to do in the morning. Then got work again. So it's just like, it's a matter of how I can fit time into everything in my day. And then I got my own personal life as well, man. I got relationships and family stuff and just everything going on. So it's kind of just the last year I've been really trying to figure out a schedule and prioritize certain things: gym, streaming, or gym content, my own personal life, work as well. So it's like figuring out the right scheduling is always key. And I've been really just the last year also cutting out as much of the stuff where I'm like, I'm not really passionate about it, and focusing on what I want to do. So if it's like, the truth is, I stopped reading manga, bro. I haven't watched anime in like a year. The last anime I was watching was in like October, and I was watching, I think, Freerin in like September, October, Dan to Dan. But besides that, man, it's been like I haven't really been keeping up with anime and the modern series and the modern manga stuff. Really, it's just One Piece. Like I tried getting into Kingdom for Crow because Crow's like, bro, you gotta check out Kingdom. Kingdom is like the sign in One Piece. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, and I was getting into it. I got like maybe 15 chapters deep, but I don't know. And the problem with Kingdom, uh, as much as like as much as I love sign-in series and like these other not so popular series, like really, it's just such a simple way to get into Shonen Jump series. When I could pull out my phone at work, on the bus, wherever, when I'm waiting in line at something, just anywhere, and I can pull out my phone and read, and I can binge through Bleach or One Piece and Naruto, whatever. I don't think people realize the convenience. And what, it's like $3 for Shonen Jump app for a month? That's like the most bang for your buck subscription service ever. And by the way, guys, go subscribe to Shonen Jump, because it's the way I see it is like, I always want to promote the business side of One Piece as much as possible. Go buy One Piece merch. Go buy the Shonen Jump app. You can, like, I'm not against reading TCB scans, but it's like also, show support to the official as well. And yeah, so that's kind of my mindset on it. You can do both. Because if you're doing both, you're not taking away from the official. But yeah, the convenience of Shonen Jump app is so underrated. But like I was saying, yeah, so the reason I brought that up, I can just binge through Hunter x Hunter, Dragon Ball, whatever. Do the Shonen Jump app. Dan to Dan, whatever. So that's kind of how I'm like, yeah, man, I want to get into Kingdom, but first of all, I got to find out on some obscure website, because Kingdom, when it's not a big popular series, there's not really the best translations, first of all. And then second of all, Kingdom, not only that, it doesn't even have an official English release, like not even a digital version. So when you don't even have the actual manga, like that really limits the community, first of all. And second of all, because you got to realize, right, for years, the way people got into manga was they would buy the first volume of the manga at the bookstore or wherever, they would order it online, and then they'd read that. And then if they liked it, maybe then they start collecting it, but maybe over time they're like, you know what, I'm going to just catch up and then read it online. But the thing is, when you have Kingdom, it's like hard for people to even get into the series when there's so many loops you got to go through. And I'm like, Crow, I'm at work reading Kingdom, and I'm getting the horniest ads on my phone. I'm like, on my laptop or whatever. I'm like, and I'm laughing about it with my coworkers. I'm like, bro, this is like insane. Like, I can't go to a next chapter without getting blindsided by some 14-year-old looking anime chick, and it's like, man, come on, man. Like, I don't know. That's the thing where it's like, yeah, you need ad block, bro. You definitely need ad block. And even then, I'm on my phone. I'm not trying to set up ad block and everything on my phone. But anyways, Kingdom, I want to get into it, but it's like, it's just a little bit tough in that sense. It's so convenient to pull up the Shonen Jump app and just click to the next one. No ads or anything, and then you got the cool thing with that too is it holds your spot. Cause on Kingdom, I had to go and now remember what chapter I'm at. Got to keep track of my phone and put notes in my phone. Chapter 15. And I was like, I'm going to forget that anyways. I don't even know why I'm doing that. And then I got to reread the whole thing because I'm just like, man, I don't want it. There's not enough convenience. At this point, it's like when you're comparing the convenience aspect, it's like It's like it's just such a difference where it's like it's kind of like when in video games where now people no one wants to pop in a disc. It's like it's so inconvenient. You're so lazy to pop in a disc where like you're like I'd rather just not even play. I'd rather just go on my phone when I can just pull on my phone, or I could rather just watch a movie on Netflix. No one wants to pop in a disc anymore. It's like it's such a simple thing, but it's funny too because during the whole COVID era, I was binging through manga series. I would read them on the official. I would read on Shonen Jump. I'll go find a translation on TCB, wherever. I would find these random apps and binge manga. That's how I binge Berserk on random apps and like random websites. But the thing is, well, actually, I read like half of Berserk in the physical copies too. But once I caught up to like a certain point, I'm like, bro, I'm done buying manga. I'm like gonna go broke on manga, and it was getting kind of ridiculous at a certain point. So yeah, but basically, it's like in that time where I'm sitting in my room on my laptop or whatever, my PC, my phone, where I'm just there's nothing to do. You're just sitting in the same spot for an entire day. At that moment, okay, it's easy to binge through on the same website and just binge through an entire series in a day. But now it's like nowadays you got so much going on. Life is normal again. I find it hard to sit down and read manga. And I don't know. I think also during COVID, I got burnt out because I've read through everything, bro. I caught up to so many series. Dan to Dan, and I was a huge fan of that series. Undead Unluck. I binged One Piece. I caught up to One Piece during that time. Started my channel. I was consuming manga at such an insane pace and such a ridiculous amount. And then when I was done doing that, I would go and make One Piece videos. I was the funny thing too. I was even before One Piece. I was doing reviews of like Kaiju number 8 when they were at like chapter like 20, 30, the early days, right? So I was doing like reviews on random mangas, and I would do like a day to discussion video way before the anime came out. This is like 2021, 2020. So this is like the early days. Um, yeah, I binged through Spy Family, the manga caught up. I binged through Berserk. I binged through One Piece. Was watching anime as well. So it was just a different time, bro. You had so much time on your hands. I think I burned myself out. I'm like, I don't know if I enjoy anime and manga that much. And like it kind of started to feel like a chore, right? Because you got to realize when you're doing One Piece content every day, you're thinking about One Piece every single day. Um, and it's like at a certain point, it's like it feels like a job, right? It's like all my conversations are One Piece. I got a One Piece podcast. Um, my friends like One Piece. We're talking about One Piece. Even when I'm just hanging out, we're talking about One Piece. I'm going on these research moments where I'm making videos, trying to find stuff for theories, and so even then I'm rereading the series like 10 times because I'm trying to find information, rereading arcs multiple times. At that point, I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm a little burnt out, and so I think right now I'm like in a better space, just kind of understanding where it's like you gotta just do it for fun because this is how it started out. In the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just make videos because I'm just passionate about it or it's just interesting to me, or I just want to talk to people about it and kind of have a community going. I didn't really have anyone to talk to about all this stuff before. I had a few people, but you guys are tapped in, bro. You guys are tapped. You guys are more tapped in than me. Like these people in the chat right here. You guys are keeping up with the spoilers. You guys read it before me. You guys probably read it right when it came out. So this community is just so tapped in, and it is cool to talk to people who are this informative and this interested and get different ideas and everything. So really in the beginning it was just like, yeah, I was just super interested in it. And now it's like, look, man, I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not going to worry about getting every single detail. Like, yeah, I'm going to do my research for a video, but if I can't find something, I'm going to just literally say in the video, hey guys, if you guys got any more ideas or if you guys want to add on to this, just go in the comments and add it in. Because I'm doing this for fun at the end of the day. And when it starts feeling like a job, it's like takes the fun out of it, man. You could ask any YouTuber, like at a certain point, there's a point where you're like, bro, this is starting to feel like a job, bro. And you got to realize we're not getting paid that much, bro. Like this is not like we're not like this is not the most lucrative career path. The money's cool and everything, and I'll be honest, it's just cool to make a One Piece video and make some bread off of that. But we're not doing this for the money. I guarantee you that. But you do have to kind of think of it like as a business in a certain sense. There is like a business side to it. Um, but yeah, guys, that's just like kind of a quick rundown because I look like I said, I haven't been posting at all, so I think it's fair to just you guys are here, you guys are the true fans, give you guys a little insight to what's going on lately. But look, man, One Piece. Like I said, I'm done with manga and anime. I haven't really been keeping up with any of that stuff. And look, I hear the rumblings of solo leveling, and everyone's like, "Look, man, you gotta read Solo Leveling. You gotta watch the anime. New season came out." And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm done with anime for a while. But you gotta realize I'm still here with One Piece. Still streaming every week. Still reading the chapters. Even if I don't read the chapter immediately, I'm going to check it out, bro. That like One Piece is a part of my life, and it's really changed the way I view certain things. It's one of my favorites, man. Like it's one of the only I think it's one of the only entertainment things like it's one of the only entertainment values that I have where I still love it. I've gotten burnt out with like YouTube, but I haven't got burned out with One Piece, if that makes sense. Like I still love One Piece. I never got bored of researching One Piece videos. I got tired of editing and like and like scripting and having to meet deadlines and those type of things, right? I've never not wanted to talk about One Piece. But yeah, man, this is like I want to just I think about Loki's flashback. This is one of the best flashbacks, and we're not. I don't even think we're close to being done with this. I was really thinking we're gonna see his devil fruit in this chapter, but this is way better, bro. This route, and then we still get his devil fruit. Wow, this is this going crazy. But yeah, guys. Appreciate everybody stopping through. A lot of plans. I got a few videos coming soon. Actually, I'm gonna go work on that thumbnail right now. But appreciate everybody stopping through. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you guys again. Hopefully, whenever